ISIS has started using drones. The so-called Islamic State has gotten creative in the way it's attacking U.S. troops located in Raqqa, Syria. ISIS fighters reportedly have turned recreational drones into weapons by attaching artillery shells to them and then using improvised switches to release the shells. U.S. troops usually fight alongside the Syrian Democratic Forces, which sends drones into the battlefield. ISIS is reportedly launching their own explosive-laden drones after the SDFs appear in order to disguise it as a friendly drone. ISIS drones are said to be able to release 40mm grenade-sized munitions with a relatively high degree of accuracy. U.S. troops based in Mosul in Iraq are reportedly already equipped with anti-unmanned aerial vehicle devices in order to combat similar attacks. However, the terrorist group's increased use of improvised drones in Raqqa have prompted the Pentagon to consider also adding anti-drone equipment in Syria. The Pentagon has not disclosed what type of anti-drone equipment might be used if it boosts defenses in this regard. Say no to safe spaces on YouTube. Support TomoNews at patreon.com/TomoNews. Stopping the Syrian civil war plus defeating ISIS is going to be a very tough task.
U.S. and Turkey agree to train moderate Syrian rebel groups battling ISIS. The U.S. and Turkey signed an agreement last week agreeing to jointly train and equip moderate Syrian rebel groups in their war against the Islamic State, also known as ISIS. United States forces conducted airstrikes in the Syrian city of Kobane in late January after Kurdish fighters requested American aid. Following that success, the U.S. and Turkey will begin training Syrian opposition groups in Jordan, followed by training exercises in other locations in Turkey, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia. Each 4 to 6 man rebel group will be given a Toyota Hilux pickup outfitted with a machine gun and a GPS system. Each group may also get a mortar. The training program in Jordan is expected to begin next month, and the new communications and GPS equipment could potentially allow Syrian rebels to request U.S. assistance against ISIS militants. American B-1 bombers called upon during the Kurdish attack on Kobane are equipped with sniper pods that can accurately target moving objects. American officials hope to train 3,000 Syrian rebels by the end of the year and another 5,000 next year.
ISIS beheads 2 civilian women in Syria for charges of sorcery. Islamic State radicals have reportedly beheaded 2 women and their husbands in Syria for accusations of witchcraft and sorcery. These are the first public beheading executions of women performed in Syria, according to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. The killings were reported along with the crucifixion of 8 other civilians in the Syrian city of Deir ez-Zor. ISIS has been known to stone women to death, and they also beheaded female Kurdish soldiers that were already dead. This brutality is part of ISIS's 1-year anniversary of their caliphate, which has brought bloodshed throughout Iraq and Syria. Since announcing their violent campaign to bring an Islamic government to power 1 year ago, more than 3,000 people have died, including around 1,800 civilians and at least 74 children.
ISIS fired chemical mortar shells in Iraq and Syria. The Islamic State has apparently fired chemical mortars in both Iraq and Syria in June, according to research published on Friday. ISIS has reportedly launched at least 3 chemical attacks in Mosul Dam, Iraq, and Hasakah City and Tal Brak in Syria last month. Researchers said the chemical agent was most probably chlorine-based. The mortar released a yellow gas with a strong odor of rotten onions and stained the ground with an olive-green liquid that turned golden yellow after exposure to sunshine. Kurdish fighters exposed to the gas experienced burning sensations in eyes, nose, throat, and severe headaches, as well as nausea. Researchers said that these attacks were test cases and warned that similar attacks are likely to happen in the future.
Say no to safe spaces on YouTube. Support TomoNews at patreon.com/TomoNews.
ISIS fighters shave their beards and dress like women to flee into Turkey. Soldiers from the Sunni Muslim extremist group ISIS, or the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, have left behind piles of hair and packets of razors after shaving their beards to disguise themselves and escape clean-shaven into Turkey, according to a Twitter post from Sunday Telegraph journalist Hala Jaber, who credited Leith Abu Fidel, the editor-in-chief of Al-Masdar News. Other reports claim that ISIS soldiers are also disguising themselves by dressing up as women in robes and scarves. Jaber's tweets have been shared hundreds of times, and many netizens have responded, including Twitter user Malcolm Rawlinson, who wrote, "The lions of the caliphate are now the scared pussies." Sam Perkins tweeted, "Looks like rats, but instead beards fleeing a sinking ship." Perestroika responded to the photos with this political cartoon, showing the evolution of Islamic extremism in the Middle East. Cutting their beards is against ISIS's strict interpretation of Islamic Sharia law. But isn't cross-dressing also?